Hey, beautiful people. So, today, what I want to address, talk about, or ask the guidance about is a subject that will most likely touch all of you. And it's about consistency and how, when we set our minds to, let's say, lose weight or create a new habit or um, change something we're used to doing in a certain way to achieve a new result. And it requires us to be consistent in, let's say in my case, because I'm going on holiday to Samoa, the Pacific Island, I'm wanting to have a nice body for my bathing suit and thinking that I should be then really focused on doing more ab work, more physical training in order to achieve that. And it would seem that in the last 3 weeks, the inspiration to do so has really diminished. and I'm kind of looking at it, wondering why the inspiration is not coming, and I'm not wanting to force, to motivate myself into it, because I'm seeing that maybe it's my body not wanting to, or what is happening here. And the tendency we have is to go, oh, I'm sabotaging myself, or I have some beliefs against having a nice body, and it's working against me subconsciously, so I'm not able to create the desired outcome, or I'm not working towards the desired outcome. And I think that that way of looking at it, that perspective, is one of the traps of spirituality, where we feel like there's always something more to clean up, and if we haven't, hence that's why we're working against ourselves. And what I'm feeling into it is, if I'm not feeling inspired to do more workouts or towards a special diet or a special way of doing things, how is this serving me? And to instead ask the question of like, what is blocking me? What am I doing wrong, or why am I working against myself? I want instead to ask, how is it that doing this is working towards my objective? Because I have real belief that I'm always guided by my inner wisdom, by the divine spark that is in there, or the source that lives within me, or however you name it or frame it. So if that is so, then it means that this uh, state of being, or this non-inspired state of being to do something physically about it, is also inspired. And so how is it that this state of being that I'm in, this way that I have of looking at it right now, of not feeling inspired to uh, alter my diet, or to continue on the streak that I had, or to go for the physical exercise, the physical effort, um, how is it that I am still in line with my objective, despite the tangible aspects showing me that? And I'm really curious to see what the answer to that question will be. So you are touching here on a very important and very core principle of how you get to bring what you desire, what you wish for, into realization or into tangible form. And a lot of the times, humans have associated the doing part as being the most, if not the only, effective way to turn uh, energetical thoughts, wishes, desires into something concrete and tangible that is manifesting through matter in the reality. And although that is valid and it is one of the roads, most of you now have a desire to bring more ease into your process of manifestation, to bring more. We're going to use the word magic only because this is how a lot of you experience it, which means doing less effort and having better than expected outcome. So there is a desire across the board for humanity to um, not have to work so hard at accomplishing and still being uplifted by the result. It is a very powerful, very present in the collective atmosphere of your planet at the moment. And what that brings forth is a loosening and dissolving of this understanding that in order to create the result, there must be um, consistent, calculated effort. There must be tangible progress that you can grasp, that you can mark, that you can note. And without that notable progress, there's an understanding that there is no evolution. And now you are moving into a phase, a state of being, an understanding of life that is so very different from this. Otherwise, you would all um, you would all be underground when you're planting a seed and measuring, having instruments to tell you exactly when the germination is happening, so that you could understand that there is growth despite even nothing happening to the surface. This is what is coming into your understanding, into your awareness and consciousness, and it is the fact that the desire is born, the seed is planted, that is the tangible action, whether you want to go through the stage of it is purchased, it is, the time is, the schedule is made for its planting, and then it is planted, it is watered, it is cared for, but there is a part of it that is not requiring um, consistent uh, effort into it. It's simply a holding of the space and observing, and it's a time when you can be busy in other aspects or tending to other desires, other parts of your life. The same goes for your any other desired manifestation, desired outcomes that you're looking for. Now, we're not saying there are no efforts required. Yes, we are saying there is no effort, but we are not saying there is no tangible action that is required. But if you go with the premise that inspired action is your way to go, and all of a sudden there is no inspiration for a specific action that you had been doing, and a lot of your thinking and a lot of your programming is for you to then force that action into place, because it will represent the time when your sabotaging beliefs are coming into play, and where you've finished the initial enthusiasm that was guiding you, or the desire that was guiding it, and then it just becomes hard and you just have to stay at it, right? That is when the efforting piece comes in, and for humans, or depending on the activity you're addressing, that can be come in really quickly or take a while to come in, but it will come in. And the idea behind it is do everything you can to counteract this moment when you kind of give up. And what we want to say to you is, if you looked at this moment with different eyes and you wonder to yourself, what is why am I no longer inspired in this direction? Which other direction am I then inspired in? And that is key to the continued acceleration without the pushing. If your body is no longer calling you to specific workouts and or specific diet, what is it calling you towards instead? And it may be calling you to different types of movements. It may be calling you to rest. It may be calling you to something that is necessary in order for the process to continue in an effortless way. And it's really keeping in mind, if I'm not doing the same form, the same consistent activity, or engaging in the same tasks that I was doing before, this is not me giving up on the dream. And that's the key, because a lot of the times, because you are no longer doing the actions and you've sort of fallen off the bandwagon, as you might say, or the cycle that you're into, you associate that with you giving up on the dream and then having to restart in a new form, or finding new strategies to convince yourself into where you want to go. So if instead of thinking, I've fallen off it, this, I'm working against myself, I've sabotaged this method doesn't work for me, I need a new method. There is some truth in it that you need a new method, but it's not a new method. There is something else inspiring me as I am continuing on this journey towards that objective. You have never let go of that desire. You have never let go of that goal, that thing you want to bring into form. But reality has moved because you have taken steps, So reality is changing around you in response to the steps that you have taken, the consistent week, 2 week, 3 week, however many days that you held to a specific inspired schedule. And now it requires a different form in order for you to continue the progression. And understanding that, taking that in, holding that as, this is me really truly guiding myself in the continuum towards what I desire, and to embrace that and be open to receiving it as an exciting new step in my adventure, rather than me giving up and having to start back to scratch. Because every time you have that thought, I'm working against myself, I'm sabotaging, I'm going to have to start again, this is exactly what you're creating, and then you have the feeling of looping back to start. As if instead you're saying that portion for now, and it doesn't mean you will never go back to doing these exercise or modifying the diet in a specific way. It just means that in this step that you've now reached, this point that you've reached, something different is calling for you. And to have that openness to see, okay, what is that new coming in? What is that new form that these steps are going to take? And to continue feeling as if you are progressing, because the progression is still there. In the same way, if we go back to the seed that we planted in the earth, when it was on the ground, underground, and needing darkness, and needing warmth, and needing the minerals, as it's getting to the stage where it's piercing above ground, so you're starting to see physical transformation or material tangible results, it no longer needs darkness or constant darkness. Now it needs sunlight. It has different needs as it moves into different stages. So it is completely and absolutely normal that the one goal, the one wish, the one desire you have can start off in a specific form, in a specific routine, with specific activities, and all of a sudden those are morphing into other things because you have reached a certain stage. Be gentle with yourself. Be loving and accepting that you are way more in tune, way more aligned, and energetically intelligent than you think you are. And when there is no longer an interest, no longer a inspiration to continue with this, then turn yourself to what is it that continues to inspire me in that objective. It is entirely possible that you no longer wish to reach that objective because things in your life has changed, but most of the time that objective is still active within you, that desire is still alive. And because things are changing, it is in no way a confirmation that this is not possible for you, that you're working against yourself, or that you will not reach that goal. Truly, truly do remember that it is not a sign that this is not meant for you. It's instead a sign of, I have evolved into this, and now there's something new calling to me, a new form, some new inspired way of continuing my progression, and I'm open to receiving signs of that and putting that at play. That is much more in line, much more uplifting, much more comforting, and much more human way of looking at your journey towards manifesting what you desire. And we really, really sincerely hope that you can begin to look at yourself with those eyes, not eyes of judgment, eyes of disappointment, eyes of resentment against yourself, but more as curiosity and admiration that your body and your systems are so attuned that they know when, and that you don't have to listen to outside sources or specific formats that are very one size fits all that tell you this is exactly how you must do it, when in your life so many different things are happening all at once. And even if you're, for example, as we followed the example that we were working on your body, you're also working on improving your business, improving the relationship with your children, improving your partnerships, and all of those other things, aspects of yourself that you're also improving, moving, transforming. They're influencing the body. So nothing is ever separate. And even if in that moment you feel like you're addressing the body less than you think you should, then maybe open up wider scope and say, but I am also influencing this and this and this, and it has an impact because your emotional aspects have an impact on your physical aspects. So if you are at the same time doing big changes in your business and seeing an evolution with your children's relationship, you can get from that also a physical transformation. So have that awareness that maybe I no longer need so much consistency in that physical because something is happening there. And when I do need it again, I will be inspired. And hold yourself with gratitude for the fact that this is how your system works. It is so much more intelligent than humans give it credit. And that's really what we wish to let you know today.